So, welcome to the session Beyond the Mind book. We are on page 20. We had done the first sutra the last time. If you missed the last session or sessions, the recordings are available free of charge. You may go there and you may go to our website and come up to date on them. All right. So let's move on. The cloud of thoughts and emotions in the aura is like a thick, hard shell. It clouds everything a person sees, just like wearing dark glasses. This keeps people from thinking clearly. Don't meditate or think too much about those who hurt you or aggravate you. What you meditate on, you become. Meditate on the Guru and the higher beings. So, I keep referring to this book, Man Visible, Invisible. I made the effort to pick out a few images from this book. Let me just share them with you, or just a couple of them. See if you are able to understand. So, what the value of this book is that it just a moment, please. The value of this book, this particular book, I'm sorry, this book is that it illustrates for us the changes that happen in our aura as we evolve. Our evolution happens at many levels. It is at the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. So as we change the aura, or more accurately, the auras se kya matlab? There are different energy bodies. So Leadbeater, being a great clairvoyant, he is able to capture as pictures. And how these clairvoyants do it is they see the image, then they sit with an artist and get explained to the artist what they are seeing. Like the police does for suspects. Are you aware of that? They get the sketch artist. So what the sketch artist image banata hai, and then the person who has actually, the eyewitness, that person will say, no, no, this is not like this. So like that. So like that, these images have been created. The clairvoyant is guiding an artist to draw what is in the clairvoyant's brain. The vision that the clairvoyant has seen, that is explained to the artist draws, and then the clairvoyant says, yes, now you have got it right. So as you can see, in a less developed person, can you see where my pointer is? In the less developed person, this is what Master has explained. The cloud of thoughts and emotions in the aura is like a thick, hard shell. So what happens is that you see, the soul, trying to see the world through the aura, your vision gets clouded. It's like Master Choa often used to give the example of you are sitting in a car and there is a windshield. होता है ना, सामने का कांच होता है. Now, if that windshield has a lot of dirt, then what you are seeing through that will be not so clear. It will be hazy. Am I right? So that is what is being talked about here. So this sutra actually is a long one. We can break it up into three parts. The first part, the cloud of thoughts and emotions in the aura is like a thick hard shell. It clouds everything a person sees, just like wearing dark glasses. It keeps people from thinking clearly. So this, you can say, kind of, it's like Master is giving us some theory. He's explaining some principles. But the second part, don't meditate or think too much about those who hurt you or aggravate you. Now, here he is giving us a simple, practical, useful instruction. You remember in previous sutras, Master had reminded us, just follow the simple instructions. So this is a simple instruction. Don't somebody, unfortunately, our problem is that somebody causes us hurt, or does something nasty to us, we keep replaying that in our mind non-stop, continuously. It's like a baja bajta rehta hai wo in Hindi, if I say. Or it's like that it's like a record that gets stuck, or a tape which keeps running on loop. people are also doing good things to us. People are being helpful to us, but that we somehow seem to not remember so easily. Yes, am I right? This is what happens with us. We are not so, we don't remember acts of kindness or acts of help as much as we remember and keep replaying nasty things that people have done to us. So, what Master is saying is don't meditate or think too much about those who hurt you or aggravate you. Aggravate means who come and push your buttons, or who provoke you. Don't think too much about them. What should you do? What you meditate on, you become. Now this is another piece of information, that what you will keep thinking. Here the word meditate means where is your consciousness resting, where is your awareness or consciousness, or where is your mind mostly on. So if you are constantly on something negative, then that is what you are meditating on. But what Master is telling us, meditate on the Guru and the higher beings. Why? Because what you meditate on, you become. Now it's our choice. What do we want to become? So one way, in the beginning of my time in Arahatic yoga, what I used to do is I used to read the books, and then in every situation I would try to think that if Master Choa was in this situation, what would he think? How would he judge? How would he behave? How would he respond? So this is, I mean, I'm just sharing what I have tried to, inculcate or incorporate in my life. And maybe you can try that, and you can see, how it helps you. Because slowly you will find that your response, your behavior, your thought patterns will start changing. Why? Because the principle is given, what you meditate on, you become. Now it is our choice what we meditate on. Like a pin will prick you, the reaction may come, you may say, ouch. But do you want to keep thinking about that all the time? That is our choice. So this, I think, is really something to think about and try to incorporate in the life. Because this is not difficult. From my personal experience, I can tell you it is not very difficult. If you want to, this is something that can be incorporated into life without too much difficulty. Yeah. All right. Shall we move on? When a situation is beyond your control, just be calm. Withdraw and meditate. Wait for the proper time. Again, very practical, very helpful guidance. What does it mean to withdraw? When you say withdraw, what does it mean to withdraw? You know how to disconnect. Do you know how to disconnect as pranic healers? You know what I'm talking about here? Yes, just cut. So cut, cut, cut. That's a simple way to disconnect from a situation. Sometimes tempers are running high, everybody is very passionate or very excited, or, a lot of passions are running, and then you say, okay, let me wait for people to calm down. So what you do is you disconnect. Maybe there is just one person. Now that person is doing something which you think is not a great thing to do, right? But you see, if that person at that moment is angry, or that person is in fear, or that person is in depression, when that person is in an emotional state, that is not a good time to try to educate the person. You have to first get the person to calm down. And for that, what Master is saying is withdraw and meditate. Withdraw means give that person time. Disconnect, let the person calm down. And meditate means you think about the situation. What is the right response, what is the right way of intervening, what is the right way of guiding, of helping, of advising, etc., etc. There is a great example from the Bhagavad Gita. If you are aware of the Bhagavad Gita, at least the historical context, the Bhagavad Gita is a part of the Mahabharat, which is a massive, very big epic, probably the biggest epic in human history. Now, this is, at one time there is the big war, the massive, the great battle. When the great battle is about to begin, Arjun, who's like on one side, the main warrior, he gets emotional. He gets emotionally charged. He says, how can I fight? On the other side are my relatives, my, people who I respect, people who are like my father. My guru is on the other side. How can I fight them? How can I try to kill them? It is better I don't fight this. So if you have read the Gita, or if you have not, at least read the first few parts. Lord Krishna first allows him to calm down. He speaks to him in a soothing tone. Because his intention is, you see, at that time, the same words of wisdom will not have an effect on Arjun. Why? Because he is emotional. He is emotionally upset, let us say. What we saw in the previous sutra, the cloud of thoughts and emotions right now is too thick. The words of wisdom will not penetrate. So what Lord Krishna does is he first gets him to calm down. See, receptivity requires a calm mind. Yes. So Lord Krishna does that, and then he gives him this whole entire teaching. you know so that, I think, is very practical guidance, because sometimes we jump into a situation, we try to give words of wisdom, not the right time. You see, sometimes time is a factor. You give somebody time, they will calm down. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. In meditation, now this new section is beginning here. This section is very, very helpful and very useful, because it is explaining things which, most of the sutras here, they are talking about information that is rare, very, very rare. Not many spiritual schools or gurus will give you this sort of information. What is it relating to? What happens during meditation? What are the effects of meditation? What happens after meditation? So this is a very this information that we will read in this section is very rare, and it's of course very valuable. So in this sutra, Master says, in meditation, you may experience expansion of light moving in all directions towards infinity. Beyond the infinite light is the dark void, which is a transition point. Beyond the dark void is greater infinite light. So, first, let me point you to a sutra we have read earlier. Let's go to page 11. Page 11. In the middle, sutra number 3 from the top. What is Master saying? The soul is basically light traveling at high speed in all directions. So there we understood that, you see, the higher soul in meditation, why we experience expansion of light? Because the higher soul, the the purpose of meditation is to help us unite with the higher soul and then with the divine spark. Now these are all entities of pure light, not our usual physical light, but spiritual light. If a clairvoyant sees them, he sees pure light. So now what happens is, when there is a high degree of union between you, the incarnated soul, and the higher soul, because the higher soul is pure light, you experience tremendous light. And your consciousness seems to expand, because your consciousness is going to a higher plane where the limitations of the bodies are not applying. So it's free to, sort of, it's like an explosion. I don't know if you have been doing meditations for some time, if you have ever experienced that. It's a very beautiful experience when it happens. Now, the interesting thing that Master talks about is, he says, beyond the infinite light. Now, first of all, if something is infinite, how can something be beyond it? Good question, right? But he says beyond the infinite light is the dark void, which is a transition point. So the question is, transition to what? When you say transition, it means something is changing to something else. So what is changing? So, I'll give you, I mean, Master has not explained that here, or he's talked about it in the Existence of God is Self-Evident book also, which is there, Sutra, I think 12 and 13. If you look in this book, The Existence of God, Sutra 12 and 13, maybe just make a note and you can look it up later. So, Master has talked about it here also. What Master explains is how Master explains in the existence of God is he says that there are many universes, and when your consciousness expands, when you have this sense of being the light, there are several worlds, and in between the worlds are these dark areas or the dark void. The word Master says is void. Void means absence of anything, like a vacuum. So one way of understanding that is, in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, if you've heard of that, he talks about samadhi, achieving a state of samadhi. And if you, even in the Achieving Oneness with the Higher Soul book, Master has talked about achieving samadhi. Samadhi is the state where there is this expansion of consciousness and the mind becomes completely still. Now, apparently, this needs to be done at many levels. What are the levels? In the first level, your consciousness goes beyond the physical and etheric body, and you achieve samadhi at that level. Then, at the next level, at the astral plane, so your consciousness keeps rising, and then when it goes from the astral plane to the mental plane, again you have this transition. And that is where you experience the dark void. Or you can think of it in terms of the different bodies. As your consciousness expands or you achieve samadhi, it is there is that sense of light and then darkness, because now from the astral plane you are going to the mental to the buddhic. Are you understanding? So as you transit into each, you have that experience of light and then dark and then light and then dark and then light and then dark. But each next level is at a higher level of consciousness. I hope I'm not confusing you or causing mental congestion, but that's the topic. And I mean, I have no choice. If you need to understand, if you ask these questions like, why is this transition and so on, then this is the sort of explanation that I can actually, maybe I'm not explaining it very well, but whatever it is, that's how it is. Okay, let's move on. Page 21, the first sutra. During meditations, sometimes people experience the past, the present, and the future as one. Interesting, no? They call it now. The now is in quotation marks. But you have to understand that the experience of the past, the present, and the future, or now, is not static. It is dynamic. Dynamic means it is not fixed, it is changing. It changes with time, for example. Okay, again, very interesting, and I would say very rare bit of information. You see, it is something like this. Let me try to explain it, giving you a real world example. Supposing you have to go from one place to another place. One option you have is to walk. So let's say you are walking. Now, as you are walking, there is what Master has said, past, present, and future. So what is the past? So there is the present. Present is the spot you are on right now. Okay, imagine you are going from one place to another and you are walking. So you are on a specific spot right now. And it is dynamic because every moment the present is changing. The present spot is changing. Now at every spot, that is the every slice of the present, you can see the past. Past means the road that you have traveled so far, that you can see to a limited distance. You can also look ahead and you can see the future. That is the path you will be walking on after the present moment. Correct? Yes, I hope you are with me. So there is a past, there is the present, and there is the future. Couple of things to understand, to note. When you look back, you see the past, but then you can't see the future. When you look at the future, you can't see the past. Right? And the present, of course, is the present. And the present is changing with every step that you take. Now, in the same path, imagine there was a cable car, maybe at 100 feet height. Can you imagine? I hope you understand what a cable car is. So cable car se jab aap dekhenge, again, there is some distance you have traveled. There is a particular spot on the ground you are on, right? There is this uh, there is this path that will come. So your cable car is going. There is the ground that you have already gone over. There is the ground you are on right now, and there is the ground you are about to go. But now you can see much more of the past. You can see a lot of the future. And overall, you can see much more. Yes? Is it too complicated? आ रहा है समझ
No,
में आ रहा
no.
है या नहीं हाँ आ रहा है okay very good
Yes.
so just nod your head so I know that we are communicating. I know that these are slightly I'm just trying to explain through using a example. Now imagine you are in an aircraft maybe 20,000 feet above the ground. Yes. So now when you look down, there is the ground that you have traveled on, but you can see so much more of it. There is the ground you are directly above, and there is the ground that you will now fly over. And you can see all of it, so much of it at one time. Correct? Okay. So apparently, something like this is what Master is talking about. In our normal day-to-day consciousness, we can either be aware of the past or be aware of the future, think about the future, or we can be in the present moment. But when you meditate, it is like you have gone at 20,000 feet and you are able to experience the past, the present, and the future at one time. And this is the great ability of the great yogis. They are able to see so much of the world in terms of the past, the present, and the future. Yeah. Okay. I hope this example made some sense. Let's do one more sutra. Be silent about your inner experiences. When you develop the ability to fly high in the inner world and you come back, be silent. We'll take up questions later. May I suggest please mute yourself? So here again, practical advice Master is giving. Are you aware of the Sphinx? The symbol of the Sphinx. Sphinx. Maybe you want to make a note of it and you can look it up. Sphinx. Now, this is a mythical creature or a symbolic creature which has many parts. And they are related to knowing, to willing, to daring. But one of them, has wings. So it is supposed to represent an eagle. And the quality of the eagle that it represents is to be silent. So my suggestion is Master has talked about it in one of the courses, Spiritual Business Management. He talks about the Sphinx, and there's more material on the Sphinx. Read more about how Master has explained the Sphinx. Yeah. And one interesting thing here, I was talking about, in the example I gave in the previous sutra, I was talking about going in an aircraft. Here, Master has used the word fly high in the inner world. So that is where I got the idea of this example from, in fact. Okay. So I think we can stop here.